Team Nigeria's road to the quarterfinals. Nigeria pulled off a famous shock win against Australia as they took down the Opals 75-62 in their opening games of the Women's Olympic Basketball Tournament, Paris 2024. It was a sensational performance by the African side as they capitalized on Australian turnovers to take victory in front of another huge crowd in Lille. Nigeria were outstanding considering they had a slow start. Their defense was particularly impressive, and with this win, they could prove to be the fly in the ointment of prediction about Group B. They flew the flag for Africa basketball in a big way. Australia looked disjointed, and their guards didn't cope with the ball pressure as they quite literally threw away any chance of a victory. It felt so good. We stuck together and we came together in adversity. This is what it is all about. You fight. Nigeria forward Amy Okonkwo. This is Nigeria's only second win in the Women's Olympic Basketball Tournament after their success 68-64 against South Korea in 2004. It is, however, their first win in 9 games in the preliminary round. They conceded only 62 points today, fewer than in any of their previous games in the competition. In the second game, Team Nigeria faced France and lost 75-54. France were flying at the Women's Olympic Basketball Tournament Paris 2024 after they persevered their unbeaten record with a 75-54 lockdown on Nigeria. Nigeria had played with typical courage and on the front foot to almost keep pace with their opponents for much of their first half. However, the wheels came off for the Tigers when France suffocated their offense completely and held them to a single digit in the third quarter at just 8 points. Gabby Williams got France rolling as usual and was outstanding with 14 points from 70% shooting, 7 assists, and a Super 6 steals. The depth of France was simply everything in this game, at least in stark contrast to Nigeria. The difference in bench scoring was enormous, with the hosts ranking 37 points and their opponents only 9. Nigeria simply faded after a bright start. They were impressive in the first half, but as fatigue set in, they had to work hard to limit the damage. At 1-1, they have everything to play for when they faced Canada in the last group game. We didn't play our game. We were not ourselves. What helped us secure the win on Monday, we didn't bring today. It was tough when you let another team shoot 63% inside the paint. It's hard to beat anybody. We need to get back to our ways. Nigeria head coach Rene Wakama. France beat Nigeria with the exact same score they did against Australia in GD1 of this Olympic tournament, 75-54. France allowed fewer than 60 points in back-to-back games of the same Olympic tournament for the first time since 2000, when they conceded fewer than 60 points in each of their first 3 games in the competition. Nigeria's 54 points are their lowest in a single game at the Olympics. They have now lost 3 games by more than 20 points in the competition, and 2 of those happened against France. Today, and in the 2020 edition, 87-62. In the third game, Team Nigeria made history, beating Canada and proceeding to quarterfinals. The Tigers continue to make history and have become the first African team to make it beyond group phase at the Olympics. Nigeria are tearing up the script in a big way at the Women's Olympic Basketball Tournament, Paris 2024, after they shut down Canada 79-70 to become the first ever African team, women or men, to take a ticket for the last 8. Also winning 2 games for the first time at the Olympics, the manner of the victory was also impressive as they condemned winless Canada to an early trip home. Nigeria gained the upper hand in the contest with a stunning 11-0 run to start the second half. It left Canada reeling and their opponents never recovered. As usual, Ezine Kalu was hugely influential and did her usual thing by pulling the string in the backcourt. The playmaker registered 21 points, while Elizabeth Balogun chose a great time to have her best game in memory as she stepped up with 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Nigeria were ruthless in punishing Canada's error, an incredible 27 points from turnovers. Nigeria took like they could give absolutely anybody in the tournament a game right now. Their rugged defense was back after a lapse in their previous game against France. Physically, they are a handful, and anyone they come up against in the quarterfinals will have to play well to beat them, and that speaks volumes. Canada simply didn't have the firepower in this tournament to be successful, and that was always the concern. In the end, it will be the margin and the manner of this loss in particular that will feel uncomfortable for them and rub salt into the wounds of an early departure. Nigeria forward Amy Okonkwo had this to say, "I am so proud of us. The last game wasn't good for us, and even in the first half today, we were not doing what we wanted to come out and do. We had to talk with ourselves and realize it was win or go home, and we decided we wanted to stay." Nigeria are now assured to take part in the quarterfinals of this 2024 Olympic tournament and will become the final team from Africa to reach the stage, men or women. They have now won 2 of their 3 games in 2024 versus Australia and Canada. Before this year, the team from Africa tallied only 1 win in 37 games played in the women's tournament, already Nigeria against South Korea in 2004. Ezin Kalu scored 21 points today, only Mifon Udoka 3 games in 2004, previously managed to score 20 points with Nigeria in a game at the Olympics. Promise Amukamara made 5 steals against Canada, the second most for a player with a team from Africa in a game at the Olympics. Nigeria's Maktabin Amacheri 6 steals, Greece in 2004.